Welcome back to chapter 7 stuff. So, from that last video, I was actually incorrect. FIFO is the better way to value your inventory flow because if we kept doing LIFO in times of rising prices, like we would keep taking from like the stuff that we most recently purchased. So then we'd have a lot of like our beginning inventory left over, and if we kept going for a while, then our inventory is going to be kind of low because prices are rising. Alright, so now let's do the weighted average method. The weighted average method is different from FIFO and LIFO in that you guessed it, we have to take a weighted average every time we purchase stuff, and then we use that weighted average to calculate cost of goods sold. So let's calculate a weighted average between these two things so we can figure out what each cost is when we sell the units. So to do that, I like making a little chart. So the U is for units, and we multiply that by the cost of each unit, so 8 and 10, and we multiply those two together, and we're going to get total cost. So 100 times 8 is 800, and 200 times 10 is 2000. So now we're going to total this column and this column. So all we did was we figured out that we have 300 units on our inventory before we're selling something, and that our inventory costs 2,800. So to figure out how much each piece of inventory costs, we have to do 2,800. Our total cost of inventory divided by how much inventory we have. So 2,800 divided by 300 is going to be 9.33. 9.33, in case you can't read that, which you probably can't. So now, the nice thing with the weighted averages method is to figure out cost of goods sold. We're just going to take that 140 multiplied by 9.33. Now, I'm just going to take the 140 times 9.33 and get 1,306.2.0. And I'm not really sure. So if you put in your calculator like 9.33 repeating, you're going to get a different number. I'm actually not sure how you would do that. So I'm just going to use 9.33. So if we subtract these two, we're going to get a gross profit of 793.8. And you should notice from what we're doing so far is that in periods of rising prices, the weighted average method is always going to be in the middle of LIFO and FIFO. Alright, so now that we've done that, we have to figure out our ending inventory under. Well, why am I erasing that? I should have erased the amounts. That's wonderful. Alright, so using the weighted average method, we have to recalculate the weighted average every time that we purchase something. So again, that's why I was kicking myself for erasing this. Units times their cost equals total cost. So now we have to use the weighted average from before. So we have 160 units times 9.33. So that was the weighted average that we calculated before. We're going to use that again. And the 160 is coming from the fact that we had 300 units and then we sold 140. So now we have 160, 300 minus 140. And then we bought another 50 at 11. And this 9.33 again is just coming from the weighted average that we calculated before. So I get 1492.8. We're going to add these two up. Oh, and this should be 550. So our total cost is 2042.8. Our total units are 210. So, well, we can figure out, is this 2042.8? Yeah. So, I mean, our total cost is just going to be our ending inventory. But if we had to figure out, like, what's our weighted average, we would just take the 2042.8 divided by 210. And then we'd use that number to figure out what's going on. Well, actually, no, never mind. I'm doing this wrong. So you got to take the weighted average and you got to multiply. So this new weighted average is going to be 9.73. And now we're going to take that 9.73 multiplied by the 210. I'm going to put it over here. And we get 2043.3. There we go. That's better. So yeah, that's how you do weighted average. But what I did right here, I was doing it wrong when I just thought that the total cost was going to be our end inventory. That's not correct. You do have to calculate the weighted average and then multiply it by how many units you have. So it's 210, that's how many units we have. This 973 is our new weighted average, or how much like each piece of inventory costs. So hopefully that made sense. Hopefully my mistakes didn't confuse you too much. And if you can understand this, you should be good to go for chapter 7. And like the stuff when I was doing before where I was talking about, in periods of rising prices, FIFO will give you a higher net income. Practice those kind of questions too, and then you should be good to go.